why walking is not enough to strengthen your knees after the age of 60. So basically there are two types of exercise you need to do as we get older, right? There's the cardio exercises, which is your lower intensity but long duration type exercises. We're talking walking, cycling, rowing, gardening. That's the cardio exercise as well. And we need cardio to keep our hearts and lungs working for our general health. But you also need strengthening. Now let me tell you, walking does almost nothing to strengthen your legs. So you need to do something specifically to target those muscles in your legs which will actually help you walking in its own way. Can you explain the difference between the cardio and the strengthening exercises?
Sure. So with cardio, like I say, you're working your heart and your lungs essentially, okay? And it's called aerobic, okay? So we're using oxygen as energy to do that, okay? So when you do resistance training, it's called anaerobic, which is without oxygen. So you're working the body without using oxygen for fuel. So with anaerobic exercises, it builds up, I guess, the tension in the muscle to the point where it starts to burn, which is the lactate in your muscles is the burning feeling, right? You don't really get that with walking. So when you can apply tension to the muscle, like get it to a point where it starts to burn and fatigue, it means the muscle is working really, really difficult. And then what it'll do is that when you go away and recover from that exercise, it will then signal your body to come back and repair the muscle to be stronger for next time, because our muscles only really deal in tension. They don't really care how much weight you use, just how much load is on that muscle at any one time. So with walking being great, and so many of our members walk, right? They come in and they say, I do tons of walking, but they're missing the single one thing that's going to give you the biggest benefit, which is strength training. So we're going to talk to you today of 3 different exercises, the last one being an exercise modality, just to help you build your knees, and they're going to be better than just walking alone.
So just to be clear, if you're trying to improve your ability to get up off the floor, to climb stairs, to get off the chair, to even open a tight jar, right? So walking is not going to help you with any of that stuff, okay? You actually need strengthening exercises to build up the strength in your muscles to be able to do that. So when it comes to essential, functional, day-to-day activities, you actually need to do strengthening exercises. Walking is not really going to help you.
Cool. So the first exercise we're going to look at is going to be a hamstring knee bend. So we'll get up and we'll get going. So
the first exercise we're going to go through is called hamstring knee bends. Okay, so we're going to show you an easier version first. So all you're going to do is you're going to stand. You can either lean on the wall, so either a wall or a sturdy piece of furniture, so you can hold onto it for balance, or you can use a sturdy chair. Okay. So Gavin is going to hold onto the chair, and all he's going to do is he's going to stand on one leg, he's going to bring his other foot up like this. In doing so, he's going to be bending the knee, okay? And then he's just going to, very important, on the way back down, you want to control the movement. So don't just let the foot drop, control it on the way down. So it should take you at least 2 or 3 seconds to bring your foot back down, okay? And then you bring it back up again to about 90 degrees, and you're going to drop it back down, okay? Now, just in case if this exercise gives you a bit of a cramp, this exercise can give you a cramp in the hamstring, just don't bring your foot as high up. So stop before the cramp sets in, okay? Just a little tip. I know that it can happen.
The other thing as well I want to point out as well is that it's not just any bend. So if your knee is further forward than the other one you bend, you're not going to get a lot done that way. So a good way to do it is make sure that the thighs are both in line with each other. And in fact, you can see the ball of my foot is just behind the heel of my other foot. And if you lift from there and replace it in the same spot, you actually get the muscle working where it should. Because if it comes forward this way and you bend it, there's actually not a lot of load and tension on that muscle. So you kind of like not getting the full benefit, right?
Now, if you're relatively strong and that first version we just showed you was a bit too easy, we're going to show you how to make it harder. So you're going to need an exercise band loop again. So you're going to tie it around the bottom of your left foot in this case, the standing leg, and you're also going to go around the ankle of the leg that you're actually exercising, okay? So all you're going to do is exactly the same thing, but now you've got some extra resistance from the band. So Gavin, if you can just try and bring your foot up, okay, so it makes it quite a bit harder. Okay, and then gradually you can lower your foot down, and again up, and bring it back down. So the resistance bands come in different resistance levels. So if you find that, say for example, if the green band is too hard, you can pick the yellow one, which is usually a little bit easier.
In terms of rep ranges and stuff, we're looking at about 12 to 15 reps per side, about 3 times, taking maybe 30-second rest in between each one. What we're going to look at next exercise is a deficit step down. So some people actually sometimes get pain walking downstairs or feel really, really weak walking downstairs. I've got a client right now whose knees are absolutely shot, and we're working on this exercise because she loves to hike, and she does the pinnacles here in New Zealand, and a lot of the time is stepping downwards. So sometimes it's good to practice that exercise pattern, because obviously it'll make you stronger. So what I actually do is you're going to stand up straight onto the step that way. If you need something to balance on, you can do that. Actually, got good balance. But what I want him to do is gently bend his left leg and lower himself down to the floor. Okay, really, really slow. Now, and then he just bounce back up again, and then repeat that process. So the thing of it is, our muscles are way stronger on the lowering part. It's called the eccentric portion, and our muscles are a lot more stronger. You may have experienced this yourself. If you grab something really heavy, Alex, stop with the bad legs. Okay, if you hold something, you can hold it there for ages. You're going to lower it down, but you may not be able to lift it. That's the eccentric portion. We're very strong in isometric eccentrics, right? And this will absolutely help build your knee strength a lot faster than the other way, maybe with less pain. Now, what you could do though, if this is too high, you could use a shorter box. Like we got plates and stuff you've seen before. You can use smaller box to do that. But the idea is that you stand up and you lower yourself down. So play with the height that doesn't hurt. You shouldn't have any pain here. The whole point of it is to strengthen those muscles, all right? So give that a try again. You're looking at about 12 to 15 reps per side, take 30-second rest and repeat that 3 times.
I guess that the extra value of this exercise as well is that a lot of the time, people struggle with going down the stairs more than they struggle going up the stairs. So if you do this exercise in a gradual way, you actually improve your ability to go down the steps or downhill, in this case for this lady that loves hiking. And the third exercise, we're not going to demonstrate because it's pretty much self-explanatory. It is stationary bike, okay? So it's just cycling essentially. Now, if you're safe on a road bike, that's fine, you can do a real bike, okay? So the thing about cycling is it actually helps to build strength in your inner thigh muscle, which is called VMR, okay? Now, that particular part of your quadricep is essential to keep your knees safe. Now, there's an extra benefit in cycling is that it's also a cardio exercise. So do you know how in the beginning we said there's cardio exercise and the strengthening exercises? Well, cycling is actually both. So that's why cycling is such an amazing exercise. So not only are you getting a good fitness workout, your heart is working, your lungs are working, but also it helps to build strength in your thigh area. Now, we are aware that if you have sensitive knees, some people, so most people are comfortable with biking, but some people can actually find cycling a little bit uncomfortable. Now, very often, it's because of the way you set up your seat. Some people don't know how to set up a bike properly, so they either put the seat too high or too low. So my recommendation is when you're when you're adjusting the seat height, make sure when you're pushing the pedal right down, your knee should be still slightly bent. Okay, so your knee doesn't lock completely; it still has a tiny bit of a bend in it when you're pushing the pedal right down. So that actually may help to improve your pain when you're cycling.
Now the other thing I'll add to that as well, so when we spoke about like lactic threshold, the way it starts to burn, so many people even in our gym as well will put it on super easy and they'll just let their legs roll. Okay, that's not what you want to be doing. You want to be selecting yourself a cadence, which is the RPM, and a nice cadence I like to use is about 85 RPM, right, or revs per minute, how many times your feet spin in a minute. And the second thing, I like to get a nice moderate intensity or level that is not quite burning your legs, but you're just a couple of notches down. So let's just say like 8 out of 10 difficulty is starting the way your legs start to burn. You can drop the intensity a little bit where you're just playing with that threshold, because what it's done is taken all the sort of kind of load off your legs, but the muscles are still getting a slightly anaerobic effect by doing it, right? So you got to try and get that right, and you should be able to maintain that sort of level and speed easily for about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, if you can't do that level for that long, then obviously adjust it down, but you do want it just under the cusp of burning, which is really important. Cool, so that's the video for today, guys. We're going to leave a video in the top left hand corner there which we think you will like, so head over there and we will see you there very shortly.